All right, so what we have here today is our CRUD application. CRUD stands for Create, Read, Update, and Delete. In this application, we will be making a book inventory application. We have our add book right here. That's a tab that we click to add books. We have our list of books right here, and as you can see, there are no books currently available. We'll be utilizing local storage today. So first, we'll start with the book name. We have the QAnon Manifesto. That is by Quentin Tarantino, because we know he is responsible for all of this. We have 5 of those because they're in high demand, and the price will be $5.44. All right, there we go. As you can see, we have added a book to the list, but that's not where this stops. We're going to do one more. We'll do Masterpieces in World Literature by Shia LaBeouf. And that will be, we have 3 of those. We have 3 of those today. And they'll be going for $2.99. As you can see, we've added that to our list. So we're now storing both of these in local storage. Let's see, right there and right there. And just for kicks and giggles, what we're going to do next is we are going to add the Godfather. The Godfather of this. We're going to add the Godfather of this. And this is by Mario Puzo. We have 7 of these. And they were sold for $150 back in the day. So adjusted for inflation, I think that we have those going for about $40 flat today. Yeah, as you can see, we have it all stored in there, ready to go. And we can edit these if we would like. We can delete them if we would like. And as you can see, they are deleted from local storage also. Let's cut this thing open and check out the code. Now we are diving into the code of our CRUD application. As you can see, we've created this using the React framework. In our header component, which is right here, we've created 2 navigation links using the navlink component of the React router DOM. One is used to add a book. The other one is used to list all the books. The books list component right here shows all the books that have been added. The add book is used to display the book form component. All right, on line 6 through 14, we've defined a state as an object using the useState hook to store all the insert details. Book form is going to add and edit the book. If the prop is passed, then we'll be setting it to the pass value. Otherwise, it will be an empty string. We'll be returning a form where we enter the book's properties. We're using the React Bootstrap framework on line 2 to display the form in a pretty format. From the book form component, each input field will have a onChange handler, which calls the handle input change method. As we can see here on line 75 through 119. On lines 47 through 68. Inside the handle input change method, we've added a switch statement. This is to change the value of the state based on which input field is changed. On lines 5, 7, 57, this regular expression is to make sure that the user doesn't enter any decimal value for the quantity input field. All right, we have the use localstorage.js to utilize local storage. The name of the component is really on the nose, isn't it? This allows us to easily store app data in the browser, which is a practical alternative to cookies for storing data. The advantage in local storage utilization is that the data will be saved permanently in the browser's cache until it is manually deleted. This is particularly useful in other use cases when being used with e-commerce, for example. On line 14 of use local storage, we're going to use the setItem method, providing a key and a value. Key and a value. Both the key and value have to be a string. We can also store the JSON object by using the JSON.stringify method. The code inside the function will be passed to useState, which will only be executed once. The use local storage hook is called multiple times on every re-render of the application. On lines 4 through 9, we are checking to see if there is any value already in the used local storage with the provided key, and we are returning the value by parsing it using the JSON parse method. On line 10 of addBook.js, the history prop is used and passed by React Router to every component mentioned via route. We're passing the books and setBooks props from the approuter.js file. We're storing all the books that are added into an array. If we look at lines 8 through 11 on addBook, inside the handle on submit method, we will see that this method passes an array by adding a newly added book first, and then spreading all the books already added in the books array, which we'll see on line 9 of addbooks.js. This will add the newly added book at the end of the books that have already been added. We're able to use the spread operator because we know that books is an array, since we've initialized it as an empty array in approuter. Once the book is added to local storage by calling the setBooks method, inside the handle on submit method, we're redirecting the user to the books list page using history.push. Displaying the books in the user interface. We are going to display the added books in the user interface under the books list menu. In bookslist.js, we are looping over the books with an array map, as we can see here on line 17. We are also passing the books as a prop to the book component. We're also passing the handle remove book function as a prop, so that way we will be able to delete any book that we would like to delete. Inside the handle remove book function on line 9, we're calling the setBooks function by using an array filter method to keep only books that do not match the provided book ID. We are now able to delete the book, and when we refresh the page, it is still stored in local storage. In the books.js component on line 26, we will see that we have an on-click handler that will redirect the user to where they need to go to edit when we click the edit button. In the edit book component, we are using the use params hook on line 8. This is provided to us by the React Router DOM to access the props.params ID. Once we get the ID, we will be using the array find method on line 9 of edit book. This is used to find the book that we are looking for from the list of books that are matching the provided ID. In the state that is defined in the book form component on 8 through 12, we are checking to see if the book prop exists. If it does exist, we will be using the details of the book passed as a prop. If that is not the case, then we will initialize the state with an empty value for each property. Each of the input elements provided will have a value prop, which we're setting from the state with form control within the form. In bookslist.js, we've imported use context and books context at the top. Above our handle remove books method on lines 9 through 11, we will see that we are using a use context hook in order to create common data that can be accessed through the component hierarchy without passing the props down manually to each level. That's pretty much how this application works. Who would have guessed it would take so much work for a React application to run these basic operations? In conclusion, I'd like to say thank you to the folks over at Tech Talent South, Jessica, Irish, Betsy, all you guys. Seriously, it's been a great experience. 20 weeks, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Java, SQL, all of that in 20 weeks. Who would have guessed? Big thank you to my instructor, Eric Taylor. He's instilled a love for problem solving and for coding just in general, really. In the last 20 weeks, I mean, he's been like a Mr. Miyagi of code. He's gotten me to wax on and wax off, all that, from his desk over in Arizona. Miss Melissa Hellam over in Louisiana, I appreciate you and everything that you do. You radiate positivity, and it makes the learning environment so much more effective. And to all my classmates, the ones that have made it, the ones that have not, the ones that are gainfully employed, seriously, I think we're on the path to world domination. Take care, guys.